I
like the sound of that.
I do say so. Yeah. You recording there, Phil?
Yeah, what do you think all that pop fart noise was for?
Well, I didn't know.
It's called a sound check for those of us in the business.
I thought you were trying to fill the dead air.
No.
I think you're supposed to say syphilis.
There you go.
So is that? So we just like shout out what we have at the moment. Gonorrhea.
Yeah.
Crabbies.
Whiskey in a jar.
Fleas and ticks.
So I told him I have crabbies.
Yikes.
Yes.
Shall we do a clap?
Oh, yeah, the clap.
Can't ever forget that.
All right, we're going to do it. 3, 2, 1. Excellent.
That sounded beautiful on my end.
Pretty good.
Fine claps.
Pretty good.
Sounded beautiful.
Glaven.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 455 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, July 28th, 2015. I'm your host. Whoa, what's up with my voice? Excuse me.
Hello, this is Old Man Johnston. Welcoming you to the Player One podcast.
This is a preview of episode 1450.
That's
Do you remember back when podcasts were distributed over the internet? Player One remembers. You remember when a professional wrestler could go around calling people racial slurs and not have it be much of a big deal? Player One remembers.
Oh, God. Off to a good start.
That's right.
Let's take two. Hello and welcome to episode 455 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, July 28th, 2015. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from California, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Listen up, brother. Let me tell you a little something about those people. What? What?
Jeez.
Where did you think I was going?
Last week you went ahead and made some Iwata comments and then
2 weeks in a row, really.
were antagonistic to our guests, and now this?
You know who hates minorities more than Hulk Hogan?
Who?
Rich Grisham. It's a good thing we haven't had that guy back on the show because the stuff you've had to edit out.
He will cause problems.
Yes,
Yeah. Oh, wait, we do have a guest this week. Look at that. From hitthepass.com and the Press Row podcast and the Dodcast, Mr. Rich Grisham.
Hello. I'm always happy to be here on the best show on the internet. Thanks for having me, CJ and Phil.
Well, thank you very much for
Rich.
agreeing to be a guest on this show. I know it can be a dangerous thing when Phil's here.
It's true. Although this time, I will say, this time you did give me more than 15 minutes notice, so I was actually able to even prepare, which was nice. I like that.
Oh, hey, Rich.
Yes, sir.
That whole racist thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just kidding, man. That was a joke. I feel bad about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, you're not known to be much of a jokester, Phil. So
That's true.
Phil, I don't know if you went to our fine website at playeronepodcast.com and looked at the entry for the last episode. There were a couple comments that didn't like the cut of your jib last week.
Really?
But
People getting pissy about it?
to be fair, the line that Phil had last week that turned into the show title was gold.
Thank you.
True.
Thank you.
I mean, that was as I'm driving to work, I laughed out loud. I lulled, as the kids say, when you made that comment.
I think that's achievement unlocked. We made lull in the car. All right.
Wait, where are people bad mouthing me?
In the comments.
in the comments about last week's episode?
Yeah.
I'm seeing
like 2 comments in there.
Seeing Godzilla's a good game, but it is a good Godzilla game. Something about, which is pretty funny. Something about Nintendo fans. Me making fun of Donald's last name.
And now, are you on the forums or are you on the actual website?
I'm on the forums. Is this on the actual website?
Yes, it's on the website.
Okay. Are those newbies? Are those people who haven't listened to the show before?
I think they are. They didn't.
Yeah, probably.
They didn't like your style.
Well, you know what?
Don't say it. Don't do it. Let's just continue on. Let's continue from here, and let's not lose at least 2 listeners. All right. So there was some video game movie news this week that I thought might be worth talking about.
Mm-hmm.
First of which is Pixels and the release of this fine video game.
Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna. I certainly was part of the line of people making fun of this movie, and okay, yeah, I get it. Adam Sandler's made a lot of crappy movies in the past. Went and saw it.
I don't believe this to be true at all.
Not that bad. The way I would describe it is it's like Wreck-It Ralph for those of us with more refined taste.
Now, did you actually go to see it, or are you just making that whole thing up?
Now, why would I do that to myself? My life is tragic enough as it is. I don't need. I have people on the internet getting upset with me for cracking jokes. I don't need I don't need this adding to my list of woes.
You're talking about just the movie Pixels adding to your list?
Yes.
Yeah. So you didn't go see it.
Yes.
I'm guessing. I thought it was interesting. Well, there you go. I thought it was interesting. So I went on to IMDb, and they have like a weekend box office report, and it made $24 million. By the way, Pixels did not beat Ant-Man.
That's not good, right?
I don't think that's good. No, but in the news story about Pixels, or about the box office report, they say that Pixels relied too heavily, it turns out, on appealing to a generation that watched MTV when it actually showed music videos, and hoping they'd bring their 8-bit obsessed progeny with them. I think it's just that it's an Adam Sandler movie, and who goes to the theater to watch those anymore? I don't know.
Those make money, though. I've seen a lot of people saying that, who goes see Adam Sandler movies? Go look at how much money like friggin' Jack and Jill. Go look at how much money that movie made, and then compare it to the budget, and you will see why they're still cranking out Adam Sandler movies.
Isn't Grown Ups Adam Sandler vehicle as well? Yep. Didn't that do well?
Indeed. Yes, it did.
I guess Netflix is also like bankrolling the next half dozen Happy Madison films.
Yep.
You know, it's interesting. What's interesting is, my son watches a lot of Nickelodeon, and advertising of Pixels on Nickelodeon is constant. I mean, every single commercial break is a Pixels commercial.
Wow.
And first of all, it's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was some adult content.
There is.
I've heard adult content in the film.
Can I spoil the ending? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending.
You didn't see it.
Does Clank die? Oh, man.
Because who friggin' cares? One of the main characters has sex with Qbert.
I did hear about that.
Yeah, so there you go.
I heard that Olaf has sex with Qbert.
Oh, yeah, it's the guy who does Olaf's voice. Yes.
So, it's being marketed strongly at kids, and, my son, who is, 8 and, loves SpongeBob and some of the other Nick shows, he's constantly seeing this, this movie being advertised. And we've actually, he wasn't really much into movies until, probably the last 6 months or so. So we've actually gone to see a couple recently, and he's like, wow, that looks cool, And, the commercials are full of Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and, Qbert and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I he's like, can we go see it? And I saw the PG-13. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, I'm not, a big stickler on going crazy with stuff like that. But on the other hand,
Sure.
you got to be smart.
Right.
And when I read the review, not only was I immediately, not only did I immediately make the decision not to go see it because, like, evidently one of the themes of the story is Peter Dinklage wanting to have a threesome with, like, Serena Williams and some other person. Like, that's a major part of the story. But also, they said it was a terrible film, like, just an absolutely terrible movie. Like, Sandler basically sleepwalks through the whole thing. Kevin James, is the president. It's just a whole bunch of very, very bad stuff. Very adult content heavy. Just a complete miss. And it's like, man, I don't understand why the movie went in the direction that it did and why it's being marketed the way that it is, because the whole thing, if I didn't spend 5 minutes, looking this thing up, I could have easily, just been like, all right, sure, let's go see this cute, funny video game movie, thinking it might be like Wreck-It Ralph, and it turns out it would have been something very different. So,
yes.
Kind of a shame. They had a chance to do something kind of interesting. It seems like they did not.
Indeed. But you know who does have the chance to do something interesting and may actually do it is Rob McElhenney, who is the creator of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he's also in the show. He's going to be directing the Minecraft movie.
No, yes.
That hopefully is not the same misallocation of resources.
I am sure that the makers of the Minecraft movie understand the audience of Minecraft and will not have, Adam Sandler wanting to bone a creeper.
Yeah, even though he's from It's Always Sunny, I just don't see the. I think it seems from his comments that he, certainly understands the game and understands the fan base. So
right,
I think it could be good. Who knows?
I mean, is there a targeted release date for this thing? Is there any idea when it's coming out, or is it in still like super pre-production stages or something like that?
That I don't know.
I mean, if they could make a movie like the Lego Movie, they could certainly do something fun and entertaining with Minecraft. Because
somebody is making an emoji movie.
Really?
Weird. How do you turn that into a movie?
I will go see it just for the little poop emoji.
I should have
figured. Your main character.
I should have figured.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, so Nintendo.
Yeah.
Is shutting down
what?
TV.
Oh my God! What?
Shutting down TV.
I know.
On August 11th.
I knew Iwata's death was going to be a blow to the company, but
oh jeez,
they're shutting down.
Too soon. Yeah, they're shutting down the TV service.
Oh,
you missed a important detail there. TV.
That's.
You know that thing you never used on the Wii U?
I used it once. I tried it once. I did for a couple of minutes, and it was the first day that I had the Wii U, and I changed the channels a couple times, and then went back to doing something else, and literally never pressed that button again.
Now the TV button on the gamepad is different than the TV service, right?
Okay. Then I must have never even used this then.
Okay. So this was supposed to be like an interactive chat room type thing for people who are watching the same television show.
Okay.
So I don't think anyone really used that. But I know I didn't at all. But yeah, I've used the TV remote controls like you're talking about quite a lot actually.
Okay.
Because usually I have the gamepad and the remote is like on the other. The remote for the TV is on the other side of the room.
Right.
And I can switch television inputs with the gamepad. It's quite nice actually.
Okay.
But no, this is the separate service. The shutting down.
Well, let's just say it was probably a really good idea when they were talking about it, and then when it turns out that you could do exactly that with every other electronic device without having to be connected to the Wii.
Or when your cable box wants to do that, the Xbox One wants to be, you know, input 0 on your television. Yeah.
I mean, which in and of itself is kind of silly. I think I've mentioned this here before. You know, the whole concept of the the one device controlling the living room, where in 2013, 14, and 15, if there are 4 people in a living room, each of them have their own device.
Exactly.
And some have more than one. Like
True.
Just before the show, my son and I were having some fun using my iPad to take pictures. He's really into Legos, and we're making this Lego stop motion video. So you just take a bunch of pictures and stuff. So we're in there doing that, and I got the baseball game on the big TV. My wife's watching Hulu on another device. And I'm not saying that the way that I and my family use electronics is the way that everybody does, but it seems like wherever I go, that's happening a lot more than a whole bunch of people converge watching a single thing.
I think that's definitely the direction that things are going. It's not everybody gathering around to watch must-see TV on Thursday at the same time.
Show.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Ed Sullivan Show.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
That's right. Yeah. Let's talk about esports for a second. Esports.
Yeah.
We have to talk. Rich, you're on the show. We got to talk about sports
That's right.
Context. So, summer games done quick, which is not really esports, but that's happening this week. So you should definitely check that out. I think it's gamesdonequick.com, and they're on Twitch as well. They're highlighted.
Isn't there another thing going on right now too? Sort of a big one, like recreational or something like that.
There's a Dota 2 international. Yeah. I don't know if you saw Mr. Mike Phillips, who has taken his daughters to.
Oh yeah, he went to the convention.
And he ended up being at the same hotel as they're running the Dota 2 tournament. That's hilarious.
What a coincidence, Mike. I roll.
But Summer Games Done Quick is happening this week. So go to gamesdonequick.com, check that out. They're on Twitch. It's really worthwhile checking that out because the people who do these speedruns live are just amazing. I don't know any game like the back of my hand like these people do, and know every single trick and exploit to get amazing times. So it's just truly an excellent feat to watch. The other thing I wanted to bring up is so there's doping in esports. Can you believe that?
Sure.
I mean, using drugs.
It makes
performance enhancing drugs.
That must be the way to make them entertaining to watch.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, right? When do performance-enhancing drugs start to pop up? They start to pop up when there's money to be made, right? And there is plenty of money to be made, and I mean, I'm. For years, people didn't think that there were steroids in baseball, or they didn't think there were performance-enhancing drugs in the NBA or in golf, and yet there is because there's so much money, there's so much competition, you have to use every single edge. I would not be surprised if every single person, just like every single bicycler in the Tour de France was doing something. I wouldn't be surprised if every single person who's able to play high-level esports isn't using every single bit of help that they can get, whether chemical or otherwise. And I'm not sitting here saying they all are. I don't have any idea. But on the other hand, as a sports fan, it's everywhere in real, or in athletic competition. So what's the difference with esports? Like I said, especially if there's money to be made.
Yeah. So apparently, some contestants take Adderall to maintain focus and attention on the I read a Eurogamer article that came out, I guess, earlier in the spring, and then somebody got caught this past week, I believe. So, yeah. Kind of crazy. I also wanted to bring up, King's Quest, which was a big deal at last year's E3, at least I thought it was, or at least it was in the PlayStation Experience too. They did a whole thing, or maybe it was the Video Game Awards. Same time of year. Anyway, so that's coming out this week, and I feel like there has been no hype.
What is it?
Nothing.
What platforms?
Like all platforms. It's coming out on PS4 and PC, and it's episodic, I think.
Yeah, it's like an episodic type thing, and
so it's slightly different.
And Roberta Williams is not involved with it, right?
I thought she was, at least.
Was she?
Was she? It's the Odd Gentleman, right? They're developing the game. But anyway, it comes out this week, and there's basically like no hype for it. And I thought that was weird, considering the hype around the announcement of it last year.
Yeah, that is, I mean, not that I'm one to welcome hype. I'm certainly happy to find out a game is coming out in a couple of days and then check it out. It's better than yes, we're making an announcement today and the game is coming out in 3 years. But yeah, to not hear anything is a little bit more than a little surprising.
So if anyone is listening and they're involved in the marketing of that game, you're not doing a very good job. Not doing a good job.
I mean, there's no Kickstarter, there's no, like, this is a completely publisher-funded thing,
That's
right? Like this,
Activision, yeah.
Interesting.
It's supposed to be like the big return of the Sierra brand as well, right?
Right, yeah, I do recall that.
Although you had Geometry Wars in there as well.
Has there been any screenshots, any Twitch stream?
Yeah.
There is that stuff.
Trailers and a bunch of stuff. I haven't seen it like on any of the store pages. There's not been like a pre-order up there. So they have been doing trailers, but I just haven't seen them being passed around on social media.
I saw it on PSN has it. I saw a pretty big ad for it on PSN.
Oh, they do have something? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
What's it cost?
I believe it's like $15, or maybe cheaper than that for the first episode. I am not entirely sure.
So I won't ask how many episodes there are because you probably don't know that either.
I don't know that either.
Okay.
There's
Phil should know that though because you're a King's Quest fan, right?
I mean, is this like an homage to the original? Like, is it supposed to look and play like the original, or is it using the name but is it a totally different sort of way that you play it and experience it?
It's then I know how many episodes there are because I'm on the Wikipedia page. There are 5 chapters and an epilogue. So 6, I guess. I don't know how long the epilogue is supposed to be. It's an adventure game, but it will not be point and click. Let's see. The chapters are seen as neither a remake nor necessarily a sequel, but a reimagining.
So it sounds kind of like inspired by true events, but we're kind of doing our own thing.
Isn't that weird, though? It's like it's using the name of a beloved series that it's reimagining and not a remake, or I don't know.
The game is released in 5 parts with an optional epilogue only included if you buy the whole thing. So if you buy the whole season, you get. So yeah,
You sound very excited about it.
No, not really. I mean, like I said, it doesn't seem like Roberta Williams is involved with this at all, and so.
Except for that one appearance on the Video Game Awards.
And yeah.
Okay.
And quite frankly, I mean, I know different developers and everything, but the last time Sierra tried to revive one of its old.
Oh, we know how that turned out.
We ended up with Legis to Larry Magnum Cum Laude.
There you go.
That was not very good.
And it was actually really, really quite bad.
I actually got to review that.
And
unfortunately,
like horrendously disrespectful of the original. If you can, if you can, in fact, disrespect.
I don't think that's what this one is, though, right? Because
I'm sure it's not going to be that bad. They'd have to work pretty hard to make it that bad. But
yeah. I'm sure we'll see reviews of it this week.
Yeah.
At some point. All right.
Yeah, because they brought out Ken and Roberta, and then they kind of like give their blessings to it or something like that.
Yes.
But they're not actually
involved.
So
because you have that picture, the Video Game Awards, where Neil Druckmann was taking a picture of them on the stage. You remember that?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Maybe Activision's Destiny budget sucked away the cash for King's Quest.
Could be.
I'll just say this: Roberta Williams is still adorable. Holy cow! You just want to pinch her cheeks and put her in your pocket, take her home with you.
And she's just your height too.
I have a crush on Roberta Williams. Oh my gosh, that woman! That woman is as cute as a button.
All right then.
Just saying.
Let's talk about what we've been playing.
Okay.
Right? Rich.
Yes.
It looks like you've been playing some stuff. Let's start with you this week.
All right, I need your help, CJ.
All right, what do you need?
So my son's birthday was a few weeks ago, and I got him Splatoon, and we started playing it, and by the way, I know that anyone who listens to the show has heard plenty of Splatoon talk, so I guarantee you this will not be the same Splatoon conversation we've had before. So we started playing, we went right straight ahead into the center of the big building and started playing online.
Mm-hmm.
And he liked the game, but was turned off quickly by just being on teams that were getting absolutely destroyed on a regular basis. And I immediately thought, welcome to online gaming, pal.
That's right.
Nowhere but downhill from here.
Right, it's out of the nest with you and right onto the ground.
Yeah. But after like 3 or 4 games, and mercifully they don't take that long.
No, 3.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. It's not fun to just lose and not really know what you're doing. So I then pinged you, which is what I do whenever I have any Nintendo-related questions or need some thoughts or opinion. And you said, yeah, go play the single-player mode. And so we've been doing that and having a lot more fun with it.
Yeah.
The single-player mode is particularly fun, especially if you're an 8-year-old and you've never played these kinds of games before. And so we got through the first couple of levels, beat a couple of bosses and stuff. But I heard you guys last week talking about turning on and off the motion controls, and our collective biggest problem with the game has been just aiming the thing. So when you say, because we've been away for a few days, haven't been back, but when you say turn off the motion controls, does that mean you no longer have to move the gamepad around and you just use the sticks, or
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And
like a real game.
And if I have my information correct, I believe, Phil, you are a fan of not using the motion controls, but CJ, you are a fan of using them.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. So do you two want to fight to the death on this here, or how do we want to handle this?
Well, to me, the motion controls are good for very minuscule movements. Like you have somebody in just outside the reticle, and you can make a very small adjustment to get them inside the reticle.
Okay.
Without having to flip the camera around or anything like that. So that's why I like them. They're not necessary though.
Okay. So I think we're gonna do that, because even on some of the boss fights, I was really struggling because he got past the boss a couple times, but the first time I had to help him out, and I was having a hard time with just because they were sort of unwieldy. So okay, so that's the one thing, and so I'm gonna give that a shot. Turn off the motion controls and see if we like that.
Do it.
So the other thing is, and I'm sure the answer is once you reach level 5, you can get this kind of weapon, and level 10, you get that kind of weapon. But how long is the leveling up? Because I don't think playing the single-player mode does a whole lot for you as far as giving you more stuff that you can use online, right? You kind of got to go online if you're going to do that, or single-player is its own self-the-same thing, right?
Well, single player does give you access to some later weapons, so you do want to complete that if you want the full slate of weapons. But yeah, since your son's just starting out, you do have to reach level 4 or 5 before they'll start selling you other weapons.
I'll be right back. I have a little kid yelling at my door.
Alrighty. Enjoy that. So yeah, I think they'll say that you're not fresh enough.
Okay.
If you go to the store for that stuff. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long, really.
Okay. Like I said, we've been away for most of this week, so we haven't been able to dabble very much in it recently. But it's been a little bit frustrating because he enjoys the game, but it's between first the online experience where he had no idea really what he was doing. He sort of tried to figure it out, but then the single player just really struggling with controls. It hasn't been this immediate, wow, this is the greatest thing ever that so many other people, seem to be having with Splatoon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest points are, don't worry about shooting the opposing players. Worry more about covering the ground in ink. You don't have to cover the walls. The walls do not count. So it's all about the floor and covering that with your color. Yeah, you really, if he's having some trouble with it, don't worry about the opponents at all. Just go for, like, if you see an area on the gamepad map that is the other team's color, go to that area and start painting.
Yeah.
Like you could get actually more points just painting the ground and being on the losing team than people on the winning team got.
Yeah, and that's sort of the other thing in the online, the matchmaking when you're a level 1 or level 2, you kind of get thrown in with some people who are much higher level, and
that is true.
And so that, I think, has been because it's the same thing that we all experience when we go into a game a few months after it's been out, and you go into the online arenas, and everybody knows what they're doing, and you don't. And in this case, I don't know what's going on, right? Like, I had never played it either. So, and then people have
the good thing about it is that they mix it up. It'll be the same number of players, but they mix the teams up between rounds. So, the good players could be on your son's team the next game.
Right.
It doesn't keep the teams.
Yeah, it's definitely not the Halo effect, right? Where you go in and you just have no shot. But it's definitely, there's still that aspect of, wait, everybody else in here seems to know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, there's definitely a learning curve. And actually, this isn't really well advertised in the interface, but so it picks 2 maps that you can go in, and there's a recon mode. So if your son has not been to that map or whatever, when you're on the matchmaking screen before you select which type of matchmaking you're going to do, look for friends or ranked or whatever, I think it's either the X or Y button will allow you to select one of those maps and just go in there by yourself and try some things out.
Interesting.
So I would suggest that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And that's another thing, because my son has never played games at all like this. Even just the concepts, right, of maps and like, it's all just brand new to him. And a part of me is kind of like, am I just putting him in training to start Call of Duty and all those kind of games in the next few years, which I'm sure he'll be playing, because when you get to be 11, 12, 13, 14, that's what all the boys that age are playing. So,
although now it seems to be Minecraft, a lot of those.
That's true, which I'm happier about. Although Minecraft definitely has its own sort of just deep, dark, scary things going on, but definitely not. No Call of Duty going on there. So yeah, that's been an interesting thing. Like, we enjoy the game. It's not that we don't enjoy it, but it's because of all of those things. No real history with it, and starting late. It's been a little more frustrating than I would have hoped. But whenever I ask him, "I want to play Splatoon?" he's like, "Yeah." So that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I do wish they would let you play like 2 players online. Like, I don't know, like have the main player and then a guest, because it's only 1 player online.
Right.
And actually, you could probably play the There is a two-player mode in the game.
Oh, really?
I have not dealt with it a whole lot, but yeah, there is.
Okay. Interesting.
Here, say hi to everyone, Finn. You gonna say hi?
Hi, Finn.
Hello, Finn.
Say something. Yeah, okay. You don't have anything to say?
I think he just said, "What's up?"
Can you say what's up? No? Can you say wubba lubba dub dub? No? You're not gonna give me a wubba lubba dub dub?
Ah,
Okay, fine.
shame.
If I can't use you as a little monkey boy, what can I use you for? Okay, kiddo. Huh?
No.
We gotta go see mommy now.
That's right.
I want a creeper.
Huh?
Want that
Oh, you want to see the creeper?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Speaking of Minecraft.
Yeah, there
Yep.
you go.
Kids love Minecraft. Okay. Here, you take the creeper out to show mommy, okay? Okay. Can you close the door behind you?
Okay.
Okay. Be careful with the creeper.
I love the toddler. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. That's the best.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I've also, because I am a man of a certain age, Mr. Johnston, Mr. Theobald, I've also been playing a lot of golf. A lot of golf.
Like
Yeah.
actual golf?
Well, no, a lot of video game golf. Because, actual golf means you got to, get out there and spend
Go
some money.
outside.
Get in the car, get some clubs.
That seems like a hassle.
That's a lot to do. When you can just, ignore everybody in your family and go upstairs and turn on that PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, the newest EA Sports PGA Rory McIlroy Golf Tour game came out a couple weeks ago. And also this game called the Golf Club, which I've spoken about. I think Mike Phillips has talked about too, has been out. They're both great in their own way. Well, actually, no, that's not true. The Golf Club is great. Rory McIlroy is not great. But if you enjoy video game golf, and I know you two do.
I like some video game golf.
I know that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
being
do.
facetious.
I do
You guys know your hot shots. You know your Mario Golf. I mean, if you started playing
zany golf.
if you started playing Rory McIlroy, you would know what to do. It's not. I mean, if I put Phil in front of Madden, I have a feeling there might be a bit of a struggle. But you know how to
First down.
you know your way around a golf course. So
Go.
Rory McIlroy, and for a lot of good reasons, has been getting a lot of criticism. If you ignore the fact that there's not a whole lot of golf courses, if you ignore the fact that there's not a whole lot of golfers, if you ignore the fact that there's very few ways to actually play the game, and you really
Thank you, Finn.
and you really
Okay.
just want to swing a club a few times around a course, it can be fun. I by no means am I endorsing Rory McIlroy, but I will say that I've been having fun playing both the golf club and Rory McIlroy back and forth. If you kind of smash them together, you'd really have something. Because McIlroy's got some real life courses, like where they just played the British Open a couple weeks ago, where they played the U.S. Open a few weeks before that. It's got more of a really, really nice visual look and feel, whereas the golf club has thousands of courses, but none of them are licensed and real, and it doesn't have any real golfers and stuff. But anyway, if you like video game golf, there's two pretty darn good ways to play them right now on the so-called next gen console. So I've been having fun with it, even though recognizing that Rory McIlroy is not nearly as doesn't have nearly as much content as past EA Sports PGA Tour games have. On its own, for what I want to do with it, I've been having fun with it. So, but the golf club still remains fantastic. A year plus after release, it's gotten a ton of updates. It has a few new modes. The golf club is great. So I've been playing a lot of virtual golf, which is fun.
I have to check out the golf club. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've heard good things about it, and as you say, I do like my video game golf games. So.
And it's very social. So anybody that you have on your friends list that has played it, you will immediately, without having to do anything, you'll be able to go play alongside them and challenge them and all that kind of stuff. It does a great job of integrating that stuff.
I like that. I like that a lot. When is Sony going to make a Hot Shots for PS4? That's what I really want to know.
Yeah, what's up with that?
What is the deal?
What's up with that, Rich?
Hey, it's a crowded marketplace, relatively speaking. You got the two games I'm talking about. There's
where there's a crowded marketplace? Up your butt. Where's my Hot Shots?
I will say, the golf club is difficult. It is not extremely difficult, but it is not easy. Like, you have to you got to understand that you're going to miss a lot of putts. And you're gonna, you really have to learn the golf club. Whereas Rory McIlroy really just kind of, it's really feels like it's meant for a more casual player. It's really easy to just be good at it pretty quickly. But but the golf club again is great and takes a little bit of a learning curve. Nothing crazy, but you will definitely find yourself, getting. It doesn't sort of give you that extra little bit of help. You'll get a lot of bogeys and double bogeys, but you got pars and such. But it's great. I love it. And the other one that I've been dabbling in. This was one of the Xbox games with gold. I think last month.
This month.
Or is it this month?
I think it was halfway through the month. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the first half of the month.
Is Assassin's Creed Black Flag on the Xbox One? And I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan. The last one I played any amount of was 2, which I played a pretty good amount of. That was the one where you got to build your town up, right? Like you got to spend money and upgrade all the different buildings in your town and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that.
But I heard that one wasn't very good.
Yeah, so that was the last one I played, and I did really enjoy Far Cry, the last Far Cry. I think it was 4.
4, yep.
Yeah. So, this being basically free, kind of hopped in there. And I'm definitely not the first person to say this. I really would like to hang out in the world of Assassin's Creed without just having to slaughter everybody all the time.
But then what's the game then?
I know, but it's I'm still in
a chat room.
I'm still in Havana, and Havana looks really cool. It's a very interesting place, with the ports and the old churches and the different areas of the city and stuff. It looks really great. And I'm getting close to, I think, getting out of Havana, but I'm sort of on the fence with it. I played it. I've gotten past a few of the main missions. I'm sort of in that weird spot where I really want to push forward, but there's all these little blips and blops on my radar that I should go. I want to pick this thing up, and then I want to get that one. I want to get all of these little things before I do.
But you don't have to do any of that stuff.
I know that. I tell myself, but then I see a little music note, and it's a sea shanty, and everyone tells me, oh, yeah, the sea shanties, those are the best thing later on. So I'm like, well, I should probably get as many of these as I can early. So
the good ones you already have.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Pretty much.
So, it's interesting. I'm definitely going to keep playing it. And I definitely know I'm not the first one. In fact, CJ, you may have even been one person I've heard say this. Do we have to have this whole weird other world thing going on? Can't we just be pirates in the 1700s in Havana? Do I have to also have this other thing going on that almost, it almost ruins what I'm doing in Havana because I know it's not real, but I want it to be real. So,
but the thing I liked about Black Flag is they really cut down on that stuff.
Okay.
Like, there's a few things you have to do, and it's like they're making like computer games out of the stuff now or something in Black Flag, I think.
Right.
So you have to do some small things. They take 10 minutes max each. Mm-hmm. So I mean they're really quick, and then you're back to the game. I found those to be okay in this one.
Okay.
But in the previous ones, They were way too long. They really stretched those out, and they had no business being there, really. But this one is okay.
So yeah, I'm doing that. It's good. I mean, I recognize it's a quality game, so it's not that any sort of reticence to keep going. It doesn't come from it's not very good. It's just more of a, I've kind of been down the Assassin's Creed path a couple of times. What more can this be? But people have also told me, hey, this is the one, right? Black Flag.
This is the best one.
Right. So
the best one.
So if you're gonna go down the Assassin's Creed path, might as well do it with the best one. So that's that's something I'm gonna. And hey, look, I've said it before. The price is right? I mean, you can't. I would never have played it had I not been one of the games with gold, but it is, so I am. And so far, I'm thumbs up.
It was free. It was free. You're getting your entertainment out of it.
That's exactly right. I'm definitely getting my money worth. No doubt about that.
Although you're paying for gold, so.
That's true. Oh yeah,
and I am too.
It ain't free. It's just free, but not really free.
I am still paying for gold as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Phil.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
I haven't been playing nothing this week.
Nothing?
Yeah, I don't think I have. I downloaded. There's a new Puzzle Quest game for the iPhone.
I hear. Yeah.
That is Adventure Time. Adventure Time Puzzle Quest. I downloaded that and played it for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've been so darn busy this week.
Damn.
That,
all right then.
Played much of anything.
Well, Phil, that means that you have missed out on Game Freaks.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm about to get yelled at. What did I do?
The Mickey shorts.
Huh?
The Mickey shorts.
Oh,
There's only 2 things out there, and neither of them has Mickey.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
I recognize that all too well.
Yep.
Except in my case, it's specific princess dresses. So.
Yes.
So Phil, then.
What did I miss out on?
You have missed out on Game Freak's new game for consoles.
You know what? I was very curious about this. I wanted to get your impressions of this. So go ahead and do your Tembo impression. Get that out of the way. Because I'm.
Let me do the arm movement.
Oh wow!
Is that good?
That was impressive.
This, coming from me, DJ, that may be the least dignified thing we've ever had on the show. And that's coming from me.
Excellent.
But
all right, so Tembo.
Yeah, I was like multiple times right on the edge of buying this game. But
there's a demo,
on PS4?
There's a demo on PS4, yeah.
Is there really?
Pretty sure. If there's not on PS4, there definitely is on PC, and there is a trial on Xbox One as well.
Okay. Well, let's we'll have to download that then, I guess.
Which, by the way, so a couple of Xbox One games have had this, like a playable demo again. This is now becoming a thing again, and I absolutely love it. It's great.
Would you say it's the best thing ever?
Best thing ever.
Really? Would you say it's better than penicillin?
Well, no.
Would you say it's better than apartheid?
Do we have to be politically?
I'm just asking a question.
All right. So Tembo the badass.
The answer is yes, CJ. It is.
Yes.
You're supposed to say yes.
Yes, it is. It's much better.
You're waffling on that subject. Concerns me.
I'm not a waffler.
I'd rather not answer that question at this time. I don't feel I really have all the details to make an informed decision.
Yeah. All right. So can we talk about Tembo, or are we going to keep talking about? Would you like to bring up Donald Trump for president?
Let me tell you about Donald Trump and why he is right for this country. Go ahead.
Bring up Confederate flags and all that.
I'd like to bring up Confederate flags. Bring them right up the flagpole. And let me tell you why. I was talking to Hulk Hogan the other day, and he has had some very interesting ideas on the subject.
All right. So, Tembo.
Once you get those 24-inch pythons wrapped around a Confederate flag, brother.
This is a game. by Game Freak.
Now, let me say this.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Pulse Man. If we're talking about non-Pokemon Game Freak games, I really enjoyed Pulse Man, and I really, really enjoy Drill Dozer.
Okay.
So sell me on
what is your
Tembo.
opinion of Harmo Knight?
I liked Harmonite.
You do? Okay.
I did. I thought it was cute.
Same director, James Turner.
Okay. Jimmy T?
What?
Jimmy T.
Jimmy T. JT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Tembo the Badass Elephant.
Okay.
And let me ask you this: what are your thoughts on classic Sonic the Hedgehog and the Donkey Kong Country series?
Yeah.
You
had me, then you lost me.
Yeah, then you lost me.
Now,
okay,
Sonic, to be fair, never a good series, but
right. So Tembo
is
a platformer that combines elements of classic Sonic and Donkey Kong Country.
So it's part good and part bad?
In some ways. It's got some puzzle solving in there, thrown in there for good measure as well. But to me, it's a strong platformer. It's very old school, meaning that it is difficult in spots.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the reviews that I've read complain about the controls. And when I first started the game, I was using the analog stick for the right and left movement. Which
why would you do that?
You should not do. You should use the D-pad.
Well, yeah.
Because some of Tembo's attacks are based on D-pad movement. So, like, if you accidentally hit the down analog stick motion, then you're going to go, like, butt stomping for the floor.
I mean, this game, it's 2D, right?
It is
strictly 2D.
2D, but there is sort of 3D elements to it as well. Like I mentioned Donkey Kong Country, there are cannons that sort of blow you into the background,
but all your movement is done on a 2D plane.
That is correct. Movement is entirely 2D.
So why would anyone use the analog for that?
I don't know.
I like my platformers mushy.
Well, this is a mushy platformer.
Is it really?
No, it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, there is some challenging platforming in there where you have to use, multiple attacks. Like there's a dash attack, then you have the jump, and then you have to use the little uppercut that you have with this trunk. There's it's really interesting stuff. They combine stuff in a lot of really interesting ways. To me, if you like old school platformers, I think you'd like it. It's $13.50 right now on either the Xbox Live Marketplace or the PlayStation Network special launch price.
Right.
And I think it's worth it, personally. I have some complaints. The final boss is a real bastard.
Okay. But you finished the game, right?
I finished the game, yeah.
Okay.
And on the Xbox One, anyway, I was number 97 on the leaderboards for that final boss.
Nice.
So, yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm that good or if nobody's bought the game, and I can't really tell. But the other thing that, I have criticisms. One is the final boss. The other is the leaderboards. So it shows your position and then like 10 before you and 10 after you, but you can't filter by friends. So I have people on my friends list who are playing the game, but I can't see where they are on the leaderboard, and that really sucks.
Well, that's dumb.
The other thing is, so on the Xbox One, you can take screenshots and video of a game, and in Tembo, you can't share them or save them out. So
really?
This is apparently something that has to be done by the developer. You have to enable it, and they did not. So that's not good. I'm not exactly sure how things are on the PlayStation 4 side, but I did notice that. So when somebody plays it or gets an achievement, it calls the game by the wrong name.
What's it call it?
It's like Trombo. Or something like that, or Tromba. It was apparently like the working title of the game from a long time ago, and they just never changed it back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Uh,
But you might like this,
yeah.
Phil. If there is a demo, I heartily encourage you to check that out.
Yeah, I watched the video of it and was not
It's a beautiful.
horrendous. Yeah, I mean, it looked great, but the level design just looked kind of dull to me.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
it was.
I like
Maybe
it.
that was just me. But and like you were saying, it does seem to have kind of a Donkey Kong Country vibe, which does not, that doesn't really sell the game to me. But
Well, it wouldn't sell the game to me either because I'm not a very big Donkey Kong Country fan.
it's because Donkey Kong Country is not very good.
But this.
It's right up there with Shenmue.
But this, I don't know. There's something about it that I like better than Donkey Kong Country.
Okay,
Can't quite
well,
put my finger on it.
I'll try a demo, and then I'll probably wait for PS Plus.
There you go.
Because
But,
something...
all right.
This game kind of smacks of it's going to end up on PS Plus one day. Am I wrong about that?
Well, you're probably right, but hey.
Yeah.
What game doesn't show up on PS Plus one day?
Guitaru Man.
I wish that would show up on PS Plus.
Oh man, I just wish it would show up as a
anything show
PS2
up on
classic.
anywhere.
Yeah,
So anywhere.
I would rebuy that again and again.
Yeah, played some more Batman Arkham Knight. That game's a lot of fun. I find with open world games, I just really want to just go through the main quest. Like if I get sidetracked or anything, I will lose interest in the game very quickly.
Yeah.
Are you punished for that? Like, do you not have enough this or enough of those or whatever? Or are the side quests truly just side quests that don't give you any additional help or advantage?
Oh, I do know.
I've not run into anything like that.
I do know that you don't get the proper ending unless you collect all the Riddler trophies.
That could
I did
be.
hear that. No, that's not a that could be. It's a that is.
That is. Okay.
That is. Apparently, you get a very lame ending if you just play through it, and in order to get the actual proper story completing ending, you have to go back and get all the Riddler trophies.
I'll watch that one on YouTube.
Which is dumb.
What? I don't believe that. CJ, how dare you not do everything the right way?
Well, so far anyway, the side quests don't seem to be inhibiting my progress. So if that happens, then yeah, I'll go back and do some. But so far, so good on that.
Well, that's super.
That feels to be very much like a game where sometime after the holidays this year, sometime in January, when I see that somewhere for $20, because I know it's good, but I just know that there's no way that I would play that now. It's not worth the $60, but everybody I've talked to says it's such a fun game. I'm not a big Batman guy, but a good game's a good game no matter what. It seems like this is one of those.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not into the Batman games. I've maybe played Arkham City I don't know, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours of that.
I played Arkham Asylum a bit. 5-6 hours didn't do it for me, which has kept me away from any of those games since as well. But this seems like this is, like I said, more appealing to a wider array of people who just like games as opposed to having to be a big Batman.
So far, this is keeping me interested. Anyway, and I've been playing some more Splatoon because they released a new map this week, Camp Triggerfish. So, and it's a lot of fun, of course.
Very good.
All right, should we get into some tweets?
Yeah.
You like tweets?
Tweet.
Let's do another clap.
Okay.
At this point, just in case. You never know. All right. 3, 2, 1. Excellent.
That sounded really, really good.
All right. It's tweet time. Let's do some tweets.
It's tweet time!
Hacker alias Alpha Tryon says, what's one game or series you can't wait to introduce to your kids and experience together when they are old enough?
It's a good one.
Pokemon. It's an easy, generic answer.
That is a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one because the most well, that's not true. I've introduced my son to several, including Portal, which, as we've talked about on this show, he absolutely loves. Minecraft, but that was something he discovered through his friends, not through me, because I never played Minecraft when he did. Man, I'm trying to think that, like, Ratchet and Clank is something I think that we're not that far away from me sort of trying to find a good one, not going all the way back to the beginning, but Ratchet and Clank is such a great series.
Yes, it is.
And it's enjoyable on multiple levels. The characters are good. The writing is funny, right? I mean, it's not like crazy, but it's humorous, it's witty, it's speedy. The weapon, the way that they're implemented, what they are, is really cool. There's just so much great about that series. If I had to pick one that he has no idea about, that I think might be a good one, yeah, I could see Ratchet and Clank being at the top of the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Mario games, and specifically Mario 3D World, because that's got a co-op mode. I think it'd be great to play that with my daughter.
Aww.
Yeah.
Aww. Or Pokemon. That would be good too.
Yeah, my son and I play a lot of Mario games, and those are, I was not much of a Nintendo game playing guy for a decade or so, but boy, once you have a family and you want to introduce games, Mario, the whole Mario, the universe of Mario and Nintendo just instantly you're just so happy that it exists, right? Because there's so little else out there like it. Yeah, you can't go wrong with anything Mario.
Heck yeah. All right. Hacker alias Morning Coffee says, have you ever purchased a second copy of a game because your kids hogged the first copy? I think we can widen this out to significant others as well.
Well, I have bought multiple copies of Mario Kart 7. That was more so that the two of us could play each other head-to-head, and same thing with, I think it was New Super Mario Brothers 3D. It was one of the 3DS Super Mario Brothers where you could also play together. It wasn't so much because of the hogging, but I definitely wanted to be able to take those games with me on the road and not have to deal with my wife, who is, let's just say, not exactly involved in understanding how my video games are stored and having to deal with my son frantically trying to find a copy of it. So, yeah, not really because of the hogging, but more just, for completely selfish reasons, really.
Sure.
No, I don't think I have, actually. I know we've certainly ended up with multiple copies of the same game just because we've both wanted to play them simultaneously, like a portable Zelda game or something like that.
What about like Animal Crossing or
well, again, that
Tomodachi Collection?
No, she didn't really get into Tomodachi Collection because she was smarter than me, so she didn't bother getting that.
I did buy my son a 2DS simply so that I didn't have to keep having him use my 3DS.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we both have, like the 3DS Animal Crossing game. Yeah. But that's partially because we both wanted to get it digitally, and well, I guess, yeah, I mean, we wanted to play it at the same time, without having to have it be one person's town that the other person was living in. So
right.
I guess that counts, but I don't think it really speaks to the spirit of the question.
Plus, you don't really want your wife going to that one part of town that you set up just for yourself. That could get a little weird.
That little lad in Animal Crossing town.
The pixelated booby textures on the wall. Yes.
That's really Phil's private area. No one else allowed.
Yep.
All right, let's stop talking about Phil's private area.
Let me show you here.
I have to do my Tembo impression again.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Charlotte is not old enough to really hog a copy of any of my games. So, and Adrian doesn't really play video games, so I don't have to worry about that. Ha! I buy 2 copies of Burnout Paradise just for my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that. To play with listeners on 2 different platforms. That's why I did
you're dumb.
That's true.
Because you're dumb.
All right, Hacker Alias /need says, I'm getting a new 3DS XL next month, my first 3DS.
Oh boy.
Found Luigi's Mansion 2 for cheap and bought it. What other games to start with? I think Link Between Worlds should be one of your first purchases.
Link Between Worlds, Faux Show,
Fire Emblem.
Not a bad game to start off with. Let's see here. I'm just busting mine out, seeing what I have on mine.
You know, the Super Mario Land. What was the launch? I mean, I can never get the names of the games.
Mario 3D Land.
Mario 3D Land. That was really, that was a great game.
That is right up there as one of my favorite. Maybe my favorite Mario game.
Yeah.
I really like New Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I agree.
This is someone who's not even much of a fan of the new Super Mario series. I really liked Mario 2.
Kirby Triple Deluxe is great. If you
it is.
Any interesting Kirby games, it's one of the best to come out in the last few years.
Pushmo is awesome.
Yep.
Pushmo. Yep.
Pushmo on the eShop there.
And Stretchmo. Both.
Yeah, Stretchmo is good too. I mean,
Crashmo not so much.
No.
They make fun of you, CJ, but I'm firmly in the Rusty's Real Deal baseball camp.
Yes.
I love that game.
What?
And it's free.
I would not. Hey, you're talking to the guy who bought every. I paid as much as I could. Well, not as much because I haggled. Because I haggled, but no, I bought all the mini games.
I'm telling you,
it's a really fun game.
On an airplane for an hour, you lose. I mean, that game makes a flight go by like that. You just get in that zone, boom. I love that game.
Yep. Let's see. eShop stuff. I'm going to run down a list. VVV, Shovel Knight. You got SteamWorld Dig. You got Cave Story. You got Mutant Muds. You got Xeno Drifter.
Drifter.
What did I say?
Xeno Drifter.
Shovel Knight will
Drifter.
Destroy your will to live, though, if you're not prepared for it.
But you'll be happy when you go.
You can get the Majora's Mask or Link to the Past if you like that.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
all the Sega 3D classics are fantastic. Outrun, Streets of Rage, the Sonic.
I bought those specifically because of this show, and I was not disappointed.
And Outrun 3D is so good. I love Outrun 3D.
It's fabulous.
Animal Crossing.
That's Animal Crossing, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of good games on the 3DS.
Yeah, the 3DS
has just so many good games. And
no shortage of good games.
Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is a great first pickup. That is probably my favorite game on the system.
It is a good game.
So good. So, all right.
It is a good game.
Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Dr. Detritus. He says, if you had to pick one, what video game genre would you say is your favorite of all time, and why?
Sports, because sports.
Yes.
Love me some sports. Always have. I mean, ever since I first played, baseball and basketball and football on the Atari 2600, and then, on the NES. I mean, RBI baseball on the NES was just like a revolution, and then on the Genesis, NHL and Madden, like. It doesn't matter what system I played, there was always a few sports games that were just amazing. And to this day, I mean, for all of the hemming and hawing and complaining that people that like sports games legitimately, talk about, the big time sports games today are spectacular. Like if I had nothing else but Madden and MLB The Show and NBA 2K, I wouldn't be doing so bad for myself.
Did you hear? We sort of talked about it last week with Joe Walker that they're in Japan. They're doing like a reboot of the game that is known as Bases Loaded here in the U.S.
Well,
that's awesome.
Not only that's great, and the other thing I think, and we're actually going to talk about this on Hit the Pass, is I think the success of Rocket League. The ability to have a sports game, but have it be appealing to a wide group of people for a lot of reasons, right? Which we don't need to go into now. But sports doesn't need to be Madden or NBA 2K. It doesn't need to be something that you need to understand the nuances of the game and all the controls. It can just be something that in 4 minutes somebody wins and somebody loses, and then you move on to the next thing. So
Splatoon is like a sports game
in a lot of ways.
That's true.
So, when I use the term sports, it doesn't, it loosely defined. I mean, CJ and Phil, I know you guys back in the day played plenty of games that would be called sports games, but you didn't need to be a sports fan to enjoy the heck out of them.
I played Hardball on my Commodore 64, like you wouldn't believe. I played Epix's Street Sports series on my Commodore 64.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. Good games are good games.
RBI Baseball is one of my favorite games.
It's wonderful. Not the new one. Not the new one. Don't play the new one. Whatever you do.
No. Favorite genre? I'm going to say platforming. I've always loved platform games, platformers, Sonic, Bonk, Mario, Tembo. I've Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, all the platformers. I'll just those are my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with platformers as well, just because.
Do you think
that's what I grew up playing during my formidable, the NES years?
Your formative years.
Now, do you think?
What did I just say? Formidable?
You did.
Oh, you were.
I was quite formidable back in those days.
You kicked a lot of ass back then, Phil. A lot.
You were imposing.
I am.
You think Seward would say racing, or do you think he'd also say platforming, based on what back in when you guys got to know him?
I think he would say racing.
Yeah,
he might actually just say general sports. Actually. Because racing could be.
Oh, racing's not a sport.
So, I think that's what he'd say.
I'm just trying to piss off people.
But Seward is
Sega a genre? Because he would pick that.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Let's see. Let's do a few more of these. Let's do this one from the Real D Vance. He says, not to promote other podcasts out there, but what other shows?
What's the next one?
What other shows do you guys try and listen to? Gaming or non-gaming related?
I have really ratcheted down my gaming-related podcasts.
Whereas I have clanked mine up.
Is it for any particular reason that you you've ratcheted them down?
Yeah, because maybe I'm just not listening to the right ones, but there's just a general tone of negativity and unhappiness that I don't like. I enjoy video games a lot, and I like to hear people that enjoy them talk about them.
Did you listen to our show last week?
Well,
because there was this guy on there who was the biggest douchebag I ever heard.
That was
what?
you.
What?
Oh, wait.
But I do. I do listen to DLC, which is Christian Spicer and Jeff Kanata's show. I enjoy it. I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing, but I do enjoy it. I listen to what the heck do I listen to? I listen to Hardcore History. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. That's a really interesting history podcast that gets really in depth on its subject. So when you're like me, you spend a couple hours a day in a car, 3 to 4 days a week commuting. Those kind of podcasts are very welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my overall podcast listening has definitely gone down a bit. I do listen to, I listen to Adam and Dr. Drew. I don't listen to the Adam Carolla show because he's got a whole series of them, but I do listen to the one he does with Dr. Drew. I kind of get a kick out of that.
Okay. I listen to the classic Love Line.
Those are great. Yeah, and that's what this show really basically it is. Love Line continued. Is what it is.
Yeah, totally.
Just without any censoring whatsoever. Which
true.
But yeah, those are a lot of shows that used to be in my rotation have really kind of fallen out. Just because I kind of got tired of listening to people complaining as much as they seemed to be doing.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Oh, I listened to the Tony Kornheiser show. It's an ESPN show. I listen to that, but he takes off in the summer, so that's been down for a bit. I used to listen to the BS Report with Bill Simmons, but he left ESPN, so that's not a show anymore. I do check out, not regularly, but I'll sometimes binge listen to Back in My Play, the Kevin Larrabee show, obviously.
Yep.
Those are pretty much my regulars.
Cool.
All right. Phil, what do you listen to?
Well, I also enjoy Back in My Play. Fantastic, and kind of going off of what Rich said, really, it's a very positive show. Very, very much celebrating the games as opposed to kind of ripping them apart. Let's see. I listen for comedy podcasts. I really enjoy Penn Jillette's Penn's Sunday School.
I've heard that's
really good show. It is. It's a lot of fun, and it has a pseudo spin-off podcast called Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social, which is really funny stuff. And they have a kind of one of the big dynamics on the show is the jock versus nerd dynamic, because one of the guys. Matt is the kind of a big sports guy, and then Paul Mattingly, who I found out a while ago actually listens to this show. So, hi, Paul. He's a big nerd of the somewhat Phil variety, action figures and that sort of geekiness, and they do a lot of kind of riffing off of each other on that. So that's funny stuff. And I enjoy listening to a friend of the podcast, Bill Mudron, has a pop culture podcast called the Boy Howdy Podcast, which is just him and some friends of his talking about just games and movies and TV shows and comics and cartoons and just all sorts of random pop culture crap. And it's fun to listen to because Bill's a funny guy, and he draws good too. But you don't really get that on the podcast as much.
You don't get the drawing.
No.
All right.
What about you, Sig?
Video game podcasts. Yeah, I've sort of culled the list a little bit. I listen to a lot of Nintendo podcasts, of course. Duh. Radio Free Nintendo, right up there, and the Connectivity podcast that's also somewhat related. I listen to the Power Pros, which is Chris Hoffman and Chris Slate. Their Nintendo podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Is good stuff. If you want a positive video game show, there's one called Virtual by the folks at Relay FM, and it's Mike Hurley and Federico Vitici who do that show, and they're sort of out of the U.S. They're based in the U.K. and Italy, and so I there's not a lot of negative stuff in there. I don't know. It seems to be like kind of a U.S. centric thing. U.S. video game journalists games-centric thing specifically to be down on games. So I really like that show quite a bit. Let's see. Scrolling.
Keep them doggies scrolling right through rain and
I
wind
listened to the
and weather.
Catcast. There was a new one called Cane and Rinse that I got turned on to from someone on the Player One forums, actually. It is a UK-based podcast where they pick a game and do an entire episode on. So this week they did a Valiant Hearts episode. They just talked about Valiant Hearts for an hour and 44 minutes.
What's the name of that one? I might have to check that one out just because I love that game.
It is called the Cane and Rinse Video Game Podcast.
All right.
Yeah, and they did one on Halo 3. They did one on Amplitude and Frequency that was quite good. So let's see. I listened to a bunch of tech podcasts, a bunch of like Macintosh podcasts, like the Accidental Tech Podcast. I listened to that. Clockwise Connected. Let's see. Oh, friend of the show, Brandon Kramer. He's been a guest on our show. He does Jump Kick Punch. That is a great show for video games, comics, and general nerdery as well. Kind of along the same lines as the Mudron show that you mentioned.
Right.
I listened to a Seinfeld rewatch podcast called Signcast because I like Seinfeld. Yeah, a bunch of others. Maybe I'll put together a list and post them on the forum.
Where do you listen to your podcast? Do you drive? Do you have a long commute, or is it when you're working out? Like, when do you find yourself listening to them?
Usually it's commute. Yeah, in the car.
Yeah, when I'm working out. Have you seen how I look?
When I was working out, I listened to podcasts while working out, yeah.
Usually when I'm walking to the fridge to eat some more damn food, you fatty.
Yes.
When I'm commuting, driving, in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just have a playlist. Sometimes in the morning I'll just shuffle some things around and, go through an entire playlist in a day.
Do you like every day I'm shuffling?
Yeah.
Do you listen to the entire episode all the way through no matter what, or do you sometimes be like, I'm done with this episode, move on to the next one?
Sometimes skip around. Yeah.
I used to be
It depends. Like if there's if I'm listening to one and there's a podcast that I really like that gets a new episode, I'll switch over to that one and then come back to the one that I was listening to. I have done that.
If you missed a few, do you go back and catch up, or do you just, if it's been a while, do you start at the top of the brand new list?
It depends what show it is. If it's something that is largely focused on topical, timely stuff, then I'll skip. But if it's sort of an evergreen type show, then I'll save those episodes.
That's why I like the Adam and Dr. Drew show, because sometimes I'll go weeks and I'll see 4 or 5 in a row, and I'll just, because they aren't topical, you can just roll right through them without worrying about it. It's good.
Yeah, actually, like if I'm on a business trip or something and I'm just bored, like in a hotel room, I'll just like go through podcasts like that. Traveling is like, I get a lot of podcast listening done.
Yep, same here.
During that. All right, let's see. Let's do some more of these. How about this one from Hacker Alias, Stefan Turin, who says, Summer Games Done Quick is going on this week. What game do you think you could complete faster than your fellow hosts of P1P? Mine is Burn Cycle for CDI. No joke. 38 minutes. Burn Cycle.
Congratulations.
Yeah, who thought that was coming up on the podcast? All right. Yeah, what do you think?
Maybe Mega Man 2?
Yeah,
maybe?
Mine might be Super Mario 3 or 2.
Yeah.
One of those.
Mine would be Portal 2, just because I have played it along with my son probably 50 times.
Really?
Not more.
Crap.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was really his first real video game love. And, when you're 5 and 6 and you know, at that age, you guys know, they again. Like they'll have no problem watching the same show or playing the same game 100 times in a row. So we went through Portal 2 so many times. So
nice. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias Justin Brimley, who says, out of the game's press writers who have left the industry, whose writing do you miss most? And actually, we might want to extend this out to just like, you know, magazines that have closed.
Phil Theobald.
Yes, absolutely, Phil Theobald.
I don't miss his writing so much as I miss the paychecks he would get from the writing.
Well, you know, it's funny because there were not that many games writers that I even knew. It wasn't until podcast became a thing that I even started to associate them with it. And so it's not writers that I miss, but I will say I always enjoyed listening to Shane Bettenhausen. And the fact that he is not, the fact that he's working for Sony and sort of not in the mix, I always got a kick out of just, the crazy things that he would say. So that's the one personality that it'd be fun to be able to hear his non-Sony take on stuff, even though he was always pro-Sony anyway.
Hasn't he been on a couple of Retronauts episodes?
He probably has. Like I said, I'm
on podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not unfiltered at that point.
The original One Up Yours, with him and Garnett Lee and Luke Smith and John Davison
that was a great
gold.
show.
It was gold, right? So that's really, it's not so much the writers, but like that show and because I probably, between Player One Podcast and One Up Yours, those were the two shows that I really just kind of changed the way that I sort of thought about games. And I don't mean in some metaphysical way, but like before then, I really just had a sort of a narrow view of what I played and what you guys and what One Up Yours talked about, both historically and at the time. Just there was so much more that I heard about that I had never really knew about before listening to that. So that's really what I miss. It's not really the writing, but just the the unfiltered, unfettered, chaotic conversation that could veer in any direction at any time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Like, I definitely miss One Up Yours. I think, that just the journalists at that time were interesting to hear from, not even in a writing perspective, because Luke Smith's writing, I don't even remember any particular piece that I could say, but him on that show with Garnett and Shane and John Davison is that I miss that dynamic, and not a lot of podcasts can duplicate that. No podcast can duplicate that, really.
No, and they've all kind of tried too, right? I mean, for a while, that format that they created was the video game podcast format that everybody did and tried to emulate, and just didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, there are people at various sites that I would want to hear more from, and less from. It goes both ways. But I really
tell.
Let's hear some names. That's right.
I still basically pick a McElroy brother on Polygon, and their writing is usually quite good. And they've been really great on podcasts. I don't know if you listen to My Brother and Me. They're on that show, and they're great on that show. Other than that, I don't know about writing that I miss, but I miss people on podcasts, and I miss working at the old EGM with those same people. That was a great time.
I miss Crispin Boyer's writing.
Oh yeah.
Crispin he still is a very funny guy and
a talented writer for sure.
Probably the best writer on EGM.
I would agree with that.
No offense, CJ.
I would completely agree with that statement. You are correct.
Crispin, probably the best writer on that magazine, and really good. He's still writing.
Yes.
But I know he's doing a lot of stuff for National Geographic Kids and things like that, which
is fantastic too.
Which I'm super excited for my son to be old enough to kind of get into the books that he's writing. for National Geographic, so I can buy them for him.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's my answer.
All right.
That's my answer.
All right. I guess that's it. Is that a show? Is this the end?
I have one question, which I would have tweeted in had I not been sitting here live.
All right, Hacker Alias Rich Grisham, what is your question?
So the other day, my son asked me if I like Batman or Superman better.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'm a Batman guy myself, right? Like when I first started looking at comics, I sort of gravitated to Batman. But I know comics like have evolved dramatically in the 73 years since I was a little kid. So my question to you guys, and I don't believe you are neither. I don't think either of you are comic aficionados, but I think you're both better positioned to ask this question. So let's say you had an 8-year-old son who expressed an interest in comics. Where would you start him now? Where and how would you start? Because like the comics that I read was funny. Like when I first found comics, it was at a flea market. Remember those giant comics? And like I got like 3 or 4 Batman compilations of those and just read them for like 4 months straight. But like where would you go to introduce your kid to comics? And again, he's 8, right? So I don't want like Watchmen or anything.
One word. Archie Double Digest.
That's not one word at all, but no, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Do you have a local comic book shop that you know of?
No, but there is a flea market that I'm sure there are comics everywhere around there. That's every Thursday and Saturday. So
let me see. I will recommend these. This is gonna
Scott Pilgrim.
No, not for an 8-year-old. No.
All right.
And it's gonna sound kind of a cliche, obvious thing coming from me, but the Mega Man comics that Archie's putting out right now are actually pretty darn good and totally age appropriate for an 8-year-old.
Okay.
Has your kid watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
No.
Okay, first of all, sit down with your kid. Watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's on Netflix, I think. Maybe.
I don't think it is anymore. I think they took it down.
Yeah, pulled off.
It might be on
Amazon. You're not talking
Amazon.
about the M. Night Shyamalan movie. You're not
No,
talking about
watch
that,
the
right?
cartoon. Watch the cartoon.
All right.
Watch the cartoon. The cartoon is outstanding. Your kid will love it. You will probably get a kick out of it.
And this is a single cartoon movie, or is this a series?
It's a series. It's a 3-season. It's 3 seasons. It's really, really good. And then there's the show continues in comic book form, and the comics are really, really well done.
Okay.
I would also what else would 8 years old? Yeah. You know what? Bone. I would recommend Bone. Bone is a fantasy comic with a kind of Looney Tunes twinge to it, just because it has these, you have the sort of realism, with the medieval sort of stuff and dragons and that sort of thing, but you also have these kind of cutesy, cartoony characters who are the main focus of the story. So.
And what about the Batman, Superman? Like I'm so out of the loop with this stuff, but I know there's like 3 or 4 different versions of stuff. Like
Teen Titans. What about like Teen Titans Go or something like that? Right?
Yeah.
They do comic versions of those. That might be a good place.
That's true. Yeah, because I honestly I know nothing about most of the superhero stuff unless it's like, like I've the Batman stuff I read. Is stuff like Long Halloween and Dark Knight Returns and that sort of thing, which I probably would not recommend to an 8-year-old. So I can't really speak to that.
Here's what we should do. We should ask our listeners to tweet some answers to Hacker Alias Rich Grisham on Twitter at Rich
that'd
Grisham.
Be great.
And then you'll have a multitude of
choices. Yeah.
Cool.
But for sure, check out Mega Man and Bone.
Okay.
Mega Man is
like. Can you get them on the iPad? Like, do they have or is this print only kind of stuff? Do you think?
Mega Man is definitely on Comixology. Let me check and see if Bone is real quick.
Comixology, I guess, is a virtual comic service or something like that?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Owned by Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon owns it. And oh yeah, yep, Bone is up there. $8 per volume. There's nine volumes. They range in price from $8 to $13 each.
All right.
So and the first issue of Bone is available for free on
Nice.
Comixology. So you can download that and see what you think.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, you know what? What?
What?
What? I have to give a shout out to one of our listeners. Listener named Alex. He a couple weeks ago, I guess, during Comic-Con was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Activision was at Comic-Con, and they were giving out these sweet-looking posters for the new Transformers Devastation game.
Uh-huh.
And I saw pictures of them on Twitter and such, and I threw out a call on the Twitter to anyone who's at Comic-Con, totally snag me one of these if you can. And Alex did so. He grabbed not only did he grab one for me, he grabbed one for my pal Justin, who does the Points of Articulation podcast with me. And he sent those out to me, and I probably a dozen times offered to pay him for his troubles or for shipping or for the poster tubes, and he was just like, no, I'm just a big fan of the show, so here. So that was super awesome. Thanks a ton, Alex. I love the poster, and it is amazing stuff. So there you go. Had to give a shout out.
Absolutely.
Yes, because that was super cool of him.
All right. That it? We done? I think we're done.
Wow.
We're done.
You are cold-hearted.
What do you mean? Why?
I don't know. You just
what did I do?
You're just like, are we done with the show? Can we leave? Is that it? Is this it?
Exactly. Alrighty then, that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1Podcast on the Twitter, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information, blog entries about Sega CD stuff. You'll find Generation 16 episodes, which, Seward's on vacation, so he hasn't worked on any of that in the past 2 weeks, but supposedly episode 17 is well on its way. And you'll find a message board where you can discuss this very episode with us and our other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by going to the iTunes Music Store. While you're at the iTunes Music Store, you can also invest $1.99.
Cheap.
To pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application, gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails and Twitters. What have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application is available for your listening device as well for that same $1.99.
Also cheap.
You can find that right over there at the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. You can join our Steam group. You can view old episodes on youtube.com/P1 Podcast. You can watch us live most weeks on the YouTube. Just follow our Twitter account to find out when we'll be broadcasting our next live show. And if you like what you heard, and how could you can also head over to patreon.com/P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. It's always appreciated. Helps keeps the lights on around here and keeps CJ swimming in internet porn subscriptions.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. And if you have a couple bucks left over, you can head over to generation-16.com, where you will find the link to Greg Stewart's Patreon for the fantastic web series CJ mentioned earlier, Generation 16. Really is good stuff. Go give it a watch. CJ!
Yeah?
Thank you so much.
Do you now flinch whenever you say the word voicemail, just in any context whatsoever? It's like,
it's starting to become
voicemail.
Yeah, it's like a Pavlovian thing at this point.
You can't actually say the word.
Yeah. It's too bad. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Phil.
And super double extra special extraordinary fantastic thanks to the fella over there with the hella good hair, Rich Grisham.
Thank you, Phil and CJ, for having me on. I love the show. Always have, always will. As I've said, it's like jamming with my favorite band whenever I get to come on. It's awesome.
Quit kissing up to us, Rich.
Never.
You've been on the show enough.
We will invite you back. You don't have to. Yeah.
Man, oh man.
But
thank you, Rich. Where can the internet find you, Rich?
There you go. Yeah.
Go check out hitthepass.com. It is a site where we're having fun with myself, Brian Weedeye from Pasta Padre, TJ Lauerman from That Sports Gamer, and a whole bunch of us are every day putting out stuff that is what we hope and what we've been told and we continue to believe is stuff that's fun to watch or read if you like video games or sports, but not necessarily having to like both. So it's called Hit the Pass. It's just about a bunch of us talking about different things that we love related to sports video games. And follow me on Twitter at Rich Grisham. And go listen to the Press Row podcast, which has been... I've given myself a little tiny bit of a summer break. I've gone every other week for the last couple of episodes, but it won't be long before the avalanche of Madden and FIFA and NBA 2K and NHL hits, and boy, there'll be a whole bunch more to talk about with that on the Press Row podcast.
Groovy. Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you very much,
welcome.
CJ.
Yeah.
I guess we will see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, let's do another one.
Whatever.
Alrighty. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.